Coping Skills Seminars, Managing Emotions. In today's seminar, we will talk about how to manage our emotions through distress tolerance skills. This seminar will deal with 3 different types of skills, mainly distraction, self-soothing, and improving the moment. At some point in our lives, we all have to cope with distress and pain. Either it can be a bee sting or a broken arm, or it can be emotional like sadness due to the ending of a relationship and disappointment about a failing grade. We often can't anticipate when these things will happen. The best we can do is to use coping skills to help withstand these intense emotions. Today's skills will teach you how to distract from painful situations and then help you soothe yourself and relax so that you can deal with the situation in a more effective way. The plan is really to distract, relax, and cope. At the end of the seminar, I will take you through a guided imagery exercise to help you relax. Why focus on emotions? Emotions are natural reactions to positive and negative events that happen in our day-to-day lives. Sometimes they can feel out of control. When something pleasurable is happening to you, you feel good. And when something distress is going on, you feel bad. In many ways, emotions are like an instant news service that gives you constant updates about what you're doing and what you're experiencing. In this way, our emotions are extremely important for many reasons, especially for our survival. They also help us remember people and situations, communicate with others, avoid pain, and seek pleasure. But why focus on emotions? Imagine that you're in the pack, waiting to begin an exam, and you don't feel prepared for it. If your emotions start to feel out of control, you might feel stress, some anxiety, some worry and tension. You may not be able to concentrate on writing the exam. If you can keep your emotions under control, you will increase your chances of success. Let's look at this a little more closely. All situations have several possible outcomes. For example, a situation can be described as who are you with, where are you, when did this happen, what happened. So, for example, a situation could be your alarm going off in the morning. All situations have several possible outcomes. So you might have jumped out of bed, stayed in bed, pressed that snooze button several times, watched YouTube clips in bed, or even gone back to sleep. Between the situation and the outcome is you and I and the way we process it. This can be an automatic feedback loop. All situations cause us to experience a range of emotions. Emotions are usually expressed in one-word adjectives, such as happy, anxious, sad, grateful, etc. These emotions have an impact on our physiological reaction to the situation. We might end up feeling tense, have butterflies in our stomach, tension headaches, or just simply feel relaxed. If we think of the emotion as a flame, this flame is likely ignited by your thoughts. These thoughts can be gasoline thoughts, such as I am going to fail, which could flare up that emotion of anxiety and worry, or they could be water thoughts, such as I can be anxious but still deal with what is happening to me right now. In today's seminar, we will mainly be looking at emotion-focused strategies that involve taking steps to manage emotional reactions to a situation or an aspect of it that is causing distress. Today's strategies are most appropriate for situations that we cannot change in the moment. For example, waiting for an exam to begin, or attending to an assignment that's due the next day, or simply coping with a relationship breakup. Distress tolerance is the ability to withstand intense emotion. It is an important skill because many things in life can lead to intense emotional reactions. Our inability to tolerate these difficult emotions can lead to the use of ineffective coping strategies. People struggling with overwhelming emotions sometimes deal with their pain in unhealthy, unsuccessful ways because they don't know what else to do. Some of these could be isolating from others to avoid distressing situations, or making yourself numb with alcohol and drugs, taking your feelings out on others by getting excessively angry at them or avoiding them. This is understandable because when a person is in emotional pain, it is hard to be rational or think of a better solution. Distress tolerance skills are a set of tools to help manage these intense emotional states. They will not eliminate emotional pain or distress, but will temporarily stop you from thinking about your pain and distress. It also gives you time to calm before dealing with the problem, to help prevent you from doing something to make the situation worse. For example, you could talk to a close friend rather than drinking too much. Emotions are somewhat like waves. They could peak at the height of a tsunami. Either way, we know eventually the wave subsides. Using these distress tolerance skills helps us to recognize that we're not shutting out an emotion, but simply riding the wave, and using these strategies to stop from thinking about your pain, distress, so you don't peak higher and you can ride that wave smoother. It gives you time to calm before dealing with the problem. The idea is actually to soften the feeling, to help prevent you from doing something to make the situation worse. Distraction is very different from avoidance. When you avoid a distressing situation, it is because you choose not to deal with it. But distracting from it means you intend to deal with it in the future when your emotions have calmed down. For example, there is a difference between reading for half an hour to distract yourself in that moment versus playing video games all night. I will now give you a few moments to look at the list of pleasurable activities by referring to your handout. Now we will look at various ways on how we can distract ourselves. One of the more important uses of distraction is to help those who engage in self-disruptive behaviors, such as cutting, scratching, or mutilating. Older people who engage in these behaviors say that the self-injury helps relieve them of the pain they're feeling. These actions can actually cause serious damage or even death. Instead of hurting yourself, hold onto an ice cube in one hand and squeeze it. It could be temporarily numbing and distracting. Snap a rubber band on your hand when you feel like hurting yourself. Crying can also make you feel a lot better because it releases stress hormones. Hold a plank position for a while till you feel that burn in your muscles. Doing something that makes you feel good is one of the best ways, however, to distract yourself from difficult emotions. In fact, doing something pleasurable intentionally every day is a helpful way of keeping your emotional wave at manageable levels. Another way of distracting is focusing your attention on someone else. Call a friend, a family member, ask if you can do something for them that might be helpful, volunteer, get involved with helping others. But most importantly, reflect on what works for you. Is it volunteering at a soup kitchen or joining an environmental group? That makes most sense for you. People watching at the mall, at a park, or thinking of someone you care about or admire. This could be a parent or a spiritual figure. Instead of trying to block away the situation that is causing us to feel distressed, a better way could also be substituting with positive thoughts and memories. Remember events from your past that made you feel happy. Or look outside the natural world around you and bathe yourself in nature. Observe the flowers, the trees, sky, and landscape as closely as you can. Timeouts aren't just for kids. Picture our emotions like they were whirling around in a shaken-up snow globe. We need these emotions to soften and subside in order to refresh our minds, bodies, and spirits. So removing ourselves intentionally from the situation, such as taking a walk, could help immensely. Counting is another way to keep your mind from focusing on something else. You could count your breath, count cars, people as you walk, count beads. I now invite you to refer to your handout and read through the big list of pleasurable activities and identify what makes sense to you. Creating a list of distraction strategies that you can try when you're feeling distressed could be a useful strategy. We now move to our second set of skills, self-soothing. Self-soothing is important because it gives us the opportunity to allow our senses to help aid us in the process of softening those sharp emotions. Learning to relax and soothe yourself is important for many reasons. When you're relaxed, your body feels better. It also functions in a healthier way. In a state of relaxation, your heart beats more slowly and your blood pressure is reduced. Your body is no longer in a state of constant emergency. This way, your brain can think in healthier ways to cope with the situation. It is important to recognize the difference between constructive and destructive self-soothing. What could start off as something pleasurable can end up being disruptive if used excessively. It's important to avoid relying on destructive self-soothing, such as alcohol, smoking, overeating, or isolation. Instead, use constructive methods to change your physiological response and refocus your attention. Let's look at some simple relaxation and self-soothing activities that utilize your 5 senses. Some of them might be more effective for you than others. Be willing to try something new and experiment as to what works best for you. For example, you could use your vision to look at beautiful things such as flowers, art, old photos, nature. If you use our sense of hearing, you might find it soothing to listen to certain types of music, attend to the sounds of nature, enjoy the voice of a relative or friend by calling. Using smell, you might want to light a scented candle, notice the scents of nature, bake something fun. Taste, enjoy a hearty meal or a decadent dessert. Experiment with a new flavor, focus on the flavors. Be aware of them. Touch, you could pet an animal, give someone a hug. Have a massage or a hot shower or bath. Snuggle up in a soft, cozy blanket. Wear comfy clothes. I invite you now to create a list of self-soothing strategies that you can use at home and a separate list that you can use when you're away from home. Think about this for a while and use your handout provided to come up with your own personal list. Improving the moment help makes a situation less distressing by helping you change how you think about it. Living in the present moment involves recognizing when you time travel. When we time travel, we spend time thinking about all the things we should have or could have done yesterday, and all the things that went wrong in the past. Or we worry about tomorrow, sometimes thinking about worst-case scenarios. As a result, this is where we live, in the past or the future. It robs us of the present moment, the only true moment where we can really live. For example, notice what's happening to you right now as you listen to this. Are you thinking of something else? Are you thinking of something that happened in the past or something that will happen tomorrow or later on today? What does your body feel like right now? Do you notice any spots of tension? How are you breathing? Are you taking full deep breaths or are they shallow? The next time you're in a distressing situation, ask yourself, where am I right now? Am I in the present, really paying attention to what I'm doing, thinking, and feeling? Or am I ruminating about the past and worrying about the future? Notice what you're thinking without judgment and bring your attention back to the present moment. Notice how you're breathing. Take slow, deep breaths and refocus on the present. Diaphragmic breathing and alternate nostril breathing are great ways to help you focus on your breathing. While you practice breathing exercises, you can notice how your body is feeling and any tension you're holding, and use your breath to release it. Notice painful emotions created by time traveling and use your distress tolerance skills to help soften the pain in that moment. A useful strategy to improve the moment is to use self-encouraging coping thoughts. During distressing times, you might often find yourself alone. This is when you can encourage yourself to stay strong. Coping thoughts are reminders of how strong you've been in the past and encouraging words that can give you strength in the moment. Be aware of those gasoline thoughts in the moment and use self-encouraging coping thoughts instead. You might say, this is temporary. I can be anxious and still deal with what is happening right now. Just because I think something does not make it true. My stress, anxiety, sadness, anger won't kill me. It just doesn't feel good right now. My thoughts don't control my life. I do. I'm strong enough to handle what's happening to me right now. This is an opportunity for me to learn how to cope with my stress, anxiety, sadness, or anger. I can think different thoughts if I want to. Even the darkest hour is only 60 minutes. I'm just learning how to cope with my feelings. I may not be perfect at it, but that's okay too. I now invite you once again to look at your handout and think of a mildly distressing situation and identify what self-encouraging coping thoughts you could use in that situation. I will now take you through a relaxation exercise, guided imagery. It will help you guide your imagination towards a relaxed focus state. This relaxed state can help you feel more in control of your emotions and thoughts. To begin, sit in a comfortable chair with your feet flat on the floor and your hands resting comfortably either on the arms of the chair or in your lap. Close your eyes. Take a slow, long breath in through your nose. Feel your belly expand like a balloon as you breathe in. Hold it for 5 seconds. Then release it slowly through your mouth. Feel your belly collapse like a balloon losing its air. Again, take a slow, long breath in through your nose. Feel your stomach expand and hold it for 5 seconds. Then exhale slowly through your mouth. One more time. Now begin to take slow, long breaths without holding them and continue to breathe smoothly for the rest of this exercise. With your eyes closed, imagine that you enter a comfortable, relaxing place. A place using all of your senses to ground yourself in the scene. I'm going to make a few statements to make this place come alive for you. Now, with your eyes closed, look around using your imaginary sense of sight. What does this place look like? Is it daytime or nighttime? Is it sunny or cloudy? Notice the details. Are you alone, or are there other people or animals? What are they doing? If you're outside, look up and notice the sky. Look out at the horizon. If you're inside, notice what the walls and the furniture look like. Is the room light or dark? Choose something soothing to look at. Then continue looking for a few seconds using your imaginary sense of sight. Now use your imaginary sense of hearing. What do you hear? Do you hear other people or animals? Do you hear music? Do you hear the wind or the ocean? Choose something soothing to hear. Then listen for a few seconds using your imaginary sense of hearing. Now use your imaginary sense of smell. If you're inside, what does it smell like? Does it smell fresh? Do you have a fire burning that you can smell? Or if you're outside, can you smell the air, the grass, the ocean, or the flowers? Choose to smell something soothing in your scene and take a few seconds to use your imaginary sense of smell. Now notice if you can feel anything with your imaginary sense of touch. What are you sitting or standing on in your scene? Can you feel the wind? Can you feel something you're touching in the scene? Choose to touch something soothing in your scene. Then take a few seconds to use your imaginary sense of touch. Lastly, use your imaginary sense of taste. Are you eating or drinking anything in the scene? Choose something soothing to taste. Then take a few seconds to use your imaginary sense of taste. Now take a few moments to explore your comfortable, relaxing place using all of your imaginary senses. Recognize how comfortable and relaxed you feel here. Remember that you can come back to this place in your imagination whenever you need to feel comfortable and relaxed. You can also come back whenever you're feeling sad, angry, restless, or in pain. Look around one last time to remember what it looks like. Now keep your eyes closed and return your focus to your breathing. Again, take some slow, long breaths in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And then when you feel ready, open your eyes and return your focus to the room. Thank you for participating in the Managing Emotions seminar. If you have any questions, I invite you to connect with counseling services at the University of Waterloo, and we would be happy to answer them. Thanks again.